Bismillah. The topic that will be presented is coaching. Right. There are 5 points that will be shared in this presentation. Number 1 is what is the purpose of coaching. Number 2, what is the benefit of coaching. Number 3, the requirement for coaching. Number 4, the skills necessary for coaching. And number 5, one key important prerequisite for coaching to be effective. So those are the 5 points or main points that will be covered in this presentation. Now, all of these points will be conveyed from my personal experiences. So basically, I will be telling a story that will involve many things related to coaching, and hopefully from that story, these 5 main points can be conveyed effectively, inshaaAllah. So this is me. I am a person that some people might call as introvert. A person that is having difficulty or having high level of anxiety whenever I want to communicate with other people. One story that I would like to share to highlight how quote-unquote introvert I am. If you can recall, we have the period of pandemic recently, right? Quite recently. And during that period, there's a period of lockdown in Malaysia where everyone should not go to the office for work. After that period, of course, during that period, we have work from home. After that period, we have in my workplace a period of optional where someone who wish to work in the office can come, while if you wish to stay work from home, you can stay work from home. And I'm perhaps the only one or one of the few that choose to work in the office. And in the entire 5-story building of my office, I think I'm the only one that come to the office to work. During that time, it feels like I finally found my paradise. It feels this is the best works environment for me. And I can still remember vividly when the optional work from home period is almost over. People start to come in to the office, and the very first another human being that come to office that appears, it is as if my paradise fall crashing down. So that is a story to highlight how quote-unquote introvert I am. Now, that was my character, my inner self. I used to be having high level of anxiety if I'm asked or forced to be talking like this. I still remember one program where we are quote-unquote forced to be talking to strangers on the street, and we have a set of questionnaire to ask. And I actually froze, and fortunately, alhamdulillah, my friend come to my rescue and take the questionnaire and help me, right? So that was me at one time, and all my school friends know this about me. That's why whenever they see me again now talking to people like this, it is very hard for them to accept this is me. It doesn't make sense. Right. So why I'm telling this is because how I was back then and how I am now in terms of, for example, in this very specific case, the ability to talk to people, it goes through a process, and some of the process we can call it coaching. Hence the topic today. So the lesson number one that I would like to highlight is people can be coached. People can be coached. In other words, the capacity and capability of a person can actually be developed. Myself is one sample case, and we can see all across, human being, many examples of this, but this is an important lesson to be learned. Be it for ourselves, if we are not yet capable and have any capability, we can be coached, as well as if we are in a leadership position and we want to develop someone to be able to do what we do, they can be coached. This is lesson number one. To the point number two, what is the purpose of coaching? So basically, the purpose of coaching is for individual self-development. It is for individual self-development. In other words, the capacity and capability of the followers will be developed. To the question number three, what is the benefit of all this? There are two main benefits that we can highlight. Number one, once we have able to coach our follower to become a better follower or a leader, we can now delegate tasks. In other words, we will be more free to do something that we need to do compared to before, because now we have coached our follower to be able to do something more. And number two, to cultivate a lasting pool of a good and better follower, as well as, and more important perhaps, a lasting pool for future leaders. So those are the benefits of coaching. Again, back to my story to cover the rest of the points, meaning what are the elements that should be included or considered to apply coaching, as well as what are the skills required. So I will go back to my story, and this is the episode that is most recent, I would say. In the training in the past week, one of the tasks that we are given is to prepare a presentation, individual presentation as well as group presentation. For the group presentation, something actually happened before the presentation, before the day of presentation actually. So the setting is, it was night, it was dark, there was a bonfire. Everyone is sitting around the bonfire. There was a stand-up comedian, there was nasheed, etc. But then my Amiratul Muhsinin, I would say, for those who are not aware of the context, my group leader was a sister, hence Amirah. And our group name is Ihsan, hence Amiratul Muhsinin. Anyway, so my group leader come up to me and basically dragged me out of that circle around the bonfire into the hall, because our group need to prepare for a presentation tomorrow. So there I was, going from the bonfire to the hall. During the session of practice, I was asked to practice my part of the presentation. There I was, giving my best, trying to present as best I can. And then the shooting episode began. Suddenly, she stopped me and she started to shoot one bullet after one. Meaning, brother, why do you have so many etc., right? And then you should reduce that, etc., right? And then why do you move in that way, etc., right? So one point after another, right? So it felt like being shot again and again. And then not only my group leader, there's also my team member add to the shooting range episode. So that is what happened. But Alhamdulillah, after that episode, she asked me to try again, and I did better. And I can still remember the next day when we presented as a group, and afterwards she called me and said, I have improved a lot from when I first practiced the night before. So that is the episode that I want to focus on, and from there hopefully we can draw some lesson to be learned. There are things that should be involved when we talk about coaching. Number one, it should have, or it should be in an open communication environment. In our case, Alhamdulillah, because we have had some time to bond before that, so the communication is already an open communication, meaning that I'm ready to be given feedback to, and she's ready to give feedback, for example, right? So that's number one, open communication. Number two, it involved increased support. Now, she didn't just ask me to just do my thing, but there are support behind it so that I can be developed better and better throughout the process. Number three, the whole process is actually aimed to build followers' confidence. So the whole process is not actually to shoot me down, but to build up my confidence. So throughout the process, to be clear, when I say I was being shot, etc., that's just for dramatic effect of the story. But the communication is actually a constructive one. She gave feedback, and she gave the tips how to overcome what I need to overcome. So for example, when she said I have too many etc., she gave the pointer so that I'm more confident to have a pause, a moment without anything being spoken. Right? So those are among the small things that happen. So, and number four, it does involve motivation within supportive environment. So not only my team leader, my teammate also support and give pointers, give feedback, so that I actually improve from that night to the day after. So these are what should be involved in coaching. Now going to coaching skills. Even though you have the intention to coach, it does require some skills. So these are the skills: observational skills, analytical skills, delegating skills, interviewing skills, and feedback skills. These 5 skills are important and needed to be able to coach. In the story, for observational skills, she actually managed to observe when I'm presenting what need to be improved. So that is one skill, right? Oh, this part should be improved, this part should be improved. Second, they also recognize what and how to overcome what I'm lacking of, meaning that any problem, any deficiencies, not only they manage to observe, but they manage to analyze, okay, so you are having this problem, this is how to solve it. Number 3, throughout the process, it is not possible if I'm not given the small task of presenting my portion for that process to happen. So that is delegating skills. Number 4, she asked, do you realize that you have this problem? Do you realize that you utter etc.? So those are interviewing skills, and importantly, feedback skills. So they gave feedbacks that actually provide constructive feedback for me to improve. Now, having said all of those, there is still a key factor that is very important for us to consider and for us to know and for us to realize. This is a very important prerequisite for coaching to be effective. Without this, all efforts will be futile. Regardless of how much skill you have, it is still not going to be effective if we do not consider this one. So coaching effectiveness will require the individual being coached hold the ultimate responsibility for their own growth. In other words, me that is being coached in that story is the one that holds the key for the process to be successful. Coaching is effective only when the individual is receptive. If I actually reject the process, I reject the feedback, I will not be developed. I will not develop. Right. In that story, in what happened, I am ready to be given feedback, alhamdulillah. Hence, that's why I developed from the night before to the day of the presentation. I can actually go the other way. For example, when they give me feedback, I can just say, why should I listen to you? I could just say, you should actually have shukr that I even participate, etc. Right? So many people have that mechanism where they reject any feedback, and if that happens, coaching will not be effective. So this is one key important, and alhamdulillah for my case, before coming to the program, I already have been through some process where now I love to being coached. Hence, alhamdulillah, the process become effective. To recap some of the important points, number one, people can be coached and developed. Number two, there are conditions where coaching is strategic. Number three, there are skills needed to effectively coach. And number four, the individuals need to be willing to be coached and receptive to coaching. So these are four main things that I hope I have managed to deliver. In this particular story, in this particular story, I'm actually focusing on one particular small aspect of coaching where I'm being coached in my public speaking. However, on an organization, we are normally talking about a bigger concept. And this is just to illustrate when coaching is normally being used. So this is illustration where on the x-axis we have directive behavior, how much we direct from low to high, and on the y-axis we have supportive behavior from low supportive to high supportive behavior. Normally in the beginning of someone being involved in any organization, the approach used is directing, where someone is directly being directed to do something. So this is highly directive and low in terms of supportive. Once he is developed and more mature in the organization, normally this is where coaching took place or takes place, where we still have high directive behavior, but the support is increased. So that is where we have the feedback, etc. And once the one being coached is well coached, this is where we go to supporting phase, where the directive behavior become less. We do not need to direct that much. They already understand what they need to do, but we still support quite a lot. And lastly, at the end, once they are fully developed, they are becoming a leader on their own, this is the phase of delegating, where we can just delegate tasks. We do not need to direct that much, we do not need to support that much. Normally those people are already becoming leader in their own right. So with that, hopefully you all have benefited from this presentation. I would like to thank you for listening, and specifically I would like to thank my group leader, Sister Khalika, and my group member, Brother Waleed, for giving your feedback in terms of improving my ability to speak in front of people effectively, hopefully, inshaaAllah. So this is dedicated to both of you and the rest of you who have been helping me directly or indirectly. Wallahu alam. Jazakumullah khairan katsira. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.